Rainworld has an OST problem. Hello everyone, this is Daniel, and I have been playing Rainworld for, well, who knows when. And for the first time, I have decided to give a dislike to the Rainworld unreleased OST out on Steam post, because the Rainworld OST unreleased on Steam post adds 3 new albums that were already available on James Bandcamp, and people like me had already purchased them. I'd only purchased my 3 OSTs from James Bandcamp directly before they were posted to Steam. So what do you actually get if you decide to purchase all 3 of these new OSTs? The answer is not a lot. So let's go through the OST problem from start to finish before I cover why this occurred. The first one that they give you is the Rainworld Alpha's Gems and Junk, and this album happens to contain one of my most favorite songs. All of this content is saying which you won't find within any of the other Rainworld OSTs, as far as I understand. The next one is the Rainworld Ambience and Instruments. And if you know what's actually in the Ambience and Instruments, a lot of these were not included in the Rainworld Downpour soundtrack or the Vanilla Rainworld soundtrack. And then finally we have Rainworld Songs and Rhythms. This is an exact copy of the Vanilla Rainworld soundtrack. And it gets worse. It turns out in a number of these soundtracks, not all of the Rainworld songs were included. So I went onto the Rainworld Wikipedia and tried to track down every single song. Threat Superstructure Switch Trailer Remix. Pretty much anything to do with Looks to the Moon except for Underhang, which is in the Rainworld album for some reason. Else pre-release 6, Rainworld 5, which apparently was originally meant to be in the Rainworld Alpha Gems and Junk, but never made it into that album. Then we've got Rooftops, Sundown Theme 1, except the No Rain version. An alpha version of Sundown, in case it wasn't confusing enough that there's 3 Sundowns. Mud Pits Alpha, Noisy, Action Scene, All That's Left Alpha, Old Growth Alpha, The Coast or Shoreline Alpha, Furious Forest, Garbage City Shuffle, The Wet Moist, Rumblebum Pre-Release, Albino, Leviathan, Outro Theme, Threat Outskirts Pre-Release, Main Menu Rain Loops, and then none of the music from the Void endings was included. Now you probably noticed in my list that I had pink, blue, and green. The pink represented songs that were included in one of the albums. The green is songs I decided to include in Rainland Society album, and the blue is songs I decided not to include in the Rainland Society album that I assembled myself. On top of this, I also want to mention that Rainworld Watcher is apparently missing songs that were not included in the Rainworld Watcher OST, even though the Rainworld Watcher OST has more songs in it than any of the other soundtracks. So when I decided to give a dislike to the OST post on Steam, I feel very justified in doing so. Now, in terms of how they can fix this problem, the first one is they should either introduce a new album with all the missing songs, or they should at least have some method to provide people who have already done OST purchases be able to have free access to the OSTs already on Steam, because this is really dividing the Rainworld community, and to an extent where I think a video needs to be talked about this. So the next question is, well, what's caused this to happen? When looking at Steam, I noticed there was another post referring to the YouTube's brick sets available for pre-order. When I was looking through comments on Steam about the YouTube's brick set available for pre-order and the unreleased OST out on Steam posts, I realized the comments showed 3 particular things of concern. The first one is that the OSTs are nonsensical in the way they've been assembled, both by having songs missing and having a duplicate album. The second thing I noticed is that the U2's brick sets available for pre-order don't look like they're regions within Rainworld. And the primary reason for this is probably because Rainworld is a pixel art game, and you really can't translate this easily into brick sets. The second thing I wanted to defend about comments related to these sorts of things is when the Slugcat and Pink Lizard figures now available for pre-order were also put up as a post on Steam. Well, again, they definitely don't look like the pixel art. The way they've been stylized is consistent with that of the current regions that have been put on Steam. The problem with the latest merch is, one, it's regions that us slugcats don't recognize, and the second problem is that we are looking for slugcats, lizards, and alliterators, not random regions from a DLC that's still quite new. So the next problem I want to get into is, why has this occurred? And there really is just one reason. We need to understand that there's the publisher and the developer. In this case, based on some of the comments, it seems that the publisher is wanting to make additional money from Rainworld. I think it's better if I don't comment any more on that. Regardless, the integrity of Rainworld continues to hold strong. So thank you all for watching.
Whether you'd like to like, dislike or subscribe is completely up to you, as I shouldn't be telling you what to do.
And I fully stand by my decision to dislike the post on unreleased OST out on Steam. You have to complete Outskirts and Gorman's campaign for the Karma Gate to unlock.